What is up, guys? Today we are going to be discussing Rock on the Range day number 1. I got there very early on, saw all the bands that I could from the start to the end, and it was a great day overall. I just want to talk about each band a little bit and give my opinion on their performances, so let's get right into it. So first off, I saw Cane Hill, and just so you know, there's going to be like a little pop-up of my point of view and maybe some audio if I can get it to work in each of these explanations. But basically, Cane Hill is sort of a darker metalcore band. They had a pretty good performance, but as usual, when you have a band that starts off a festival, their crowd really isn't into it that much. There's always a couple people that really get into it because they're there because they really enjoy the band, but the other people are just there to get to the festival early and be in and just enjoy the atmosphere and get kind of hyped up and ready for the rest of the performances for the day. So being one of the first performances of the day, the crowd wasn't too involved, but I have to say I enjoy some of their songs and their performance was pretty good. Next up, we saw We Came as Romans, which is an established band and really drew a pretty big crowd overall. I was expecting it to be a lot smaller than it was. I know they're a big band, they're pretty big in the metalcore scene and everything, but it was the second band to perform for the day, so I didn't really think there'd be a ton of people there considering there usually isn't for that sort of thing. But there were tons of people there. It was pretty deserted everywhere else at that point in time, and they put on a really great performance. I really genuinely enjoyed them. Their stage presence was fantastic. Overall, I didn't know more than a couple of their songs, but it just was a fun performance to be at. Next up, we have Sick Puppies, which is sort of an older rock band. I know a lot of you guys probably know their hit single, You're Going Down. So that was pretty much what a lot of people were there for. Obviously, their new stuff has been pretty good as well, but they're one of the bands that sort of came up from one single going absolutely viral and just being played on like every single radio. So definitely think that their performance was a lot of waiting for that song. But honestly, the rest of their performance was really good overall. I enjoyed it a lot actually. And then hearing You're Going Down live was just a fantastic experience that, you know, my middle school self would have enjoyed quite a lot. So definitely enjoyed that as well. Next up, we saw Enter Shikari. Now, they were pretty okay. I kind of enjoy their music, but honestly, I was pretty underwhelmed by them. I mean, their stage presence wasn't that great overall, and the crowd really wasn't nearly as into it as they were for Sick Puppies or for We Came as Romans. It was more like something you'd expect from the first performance of the day where everyone's sort of getting warmed up. And honestly, I didn't expect that from them. I thought being the kind of hardcore, sort of electronic hardcore music that they have, that they'd have a really crazy performance, and overall I really wasn't feeling that. Next up, we had Seven Dust. I really didn't pay much attention to their set, honestly. I didn't know them very well, and my friend was getting a little tired at that point, so we sat down for that performance. So I can't speak to how their crowd was and if they were rowdy or if it was a good crowd or not, because honestly, how involved the crowd in general is in the performance really can make or break a performance. I mean, I know it's not that way with every band and with all types of music, but with rock and metalcore and hardcore and all those genres, the crowd really makes up a lot of the enjoyment that you'll get from the performance. So when the crowd's not too into it, you're probably not going to enjoy it as much as you would have if the crowd was into it. So Seven Dust I don't have that much of an opinion on. I enjoyed their music. I really wasn't down in the mosh pits or anything, so I can't speak to that. But overall, they were pretty enjoyable. Moving on, we had Trivium. Now, Trivium is an absolute powerhouse. They've been at Rock on the Range quite a few times. It was just fantastic performance. They opened up with Strife, which is one of my favorite songs by them, and they played a few older songs and ended off with In Waves, which is again one of my favorite songs by them. Definitely felt like I was being catered to in that sense. It was just fantastic overall. Really enjoyed their set. Next, we had Bullet for My Valentine, which is another band that I enjoyed quite a lot in middle school and definitely had a great performance. I've never seen them before, so I was hoping that I'd enjoy them and that the crowd would really be into it, and they were, which wasn't much of a surprise, honestly. And overall, it just was a great performance. Matt Tuck has a great stage presence. The band is great. I mean, what more could you want? Asking Alexandria was absolutely insane. I know a lot of you guys probably didn't like them or don't like them because they sort of fall in the more scene side of metalcore, but really it was a great performance, and I enjoyed all the songs that they played. I like their new album a lot too, so that definitely helped. Overall, I really enjoyed the performance, and I really enjoyed the just involvement that the crowd had. It was really crazy. Overall, probably top 5 for the weekend as far as the craziest performance goes, just based off of how insane the crowd was. After that, we had 6 a.m. Now, 6 a.m. overall gets a lot of hate online because they're older, and people just say they should just hang it up because they're older, which honestly I really don't agree with after seeing them perform. I think they had a really energetic and enjoyable performance overall. When they played Rise, it was just great. The audience was really into it. Again, they're not one of the really overall heavy bands for the weekend, so the crowd wasn't too rowdy or insane like in some other performances, but definitely was very enjoyable overall, and they don't need to hang it up, guys. There are other bands that's definitely true for, but they still got it. The final band on the third stage was Butcher Babies. Now, they are a female-fronted metalcore band, if you guys don't know, or at least they used to be metalcore anyways. I'm not exactly sure what you consider them after their most recent album, but it was a very good performance. The crowd was really into it, so definitely made it a little bit more enjoyable because a lot of people were just sort of pushing, shoving, moshing around, crowd surfing. It was great. So overall, definitely have to give them a big thumbs up because the vocals were very on point. If you listen to any of their music, you definitely know that there's some more strained vocals in their songs, so much respect to them because they really held up live, which is something after seeing some of their live recorded performances online I didn't really expect. So props to them. They kind of blew my expectations away, and really overall a great performance. Next up, we had A Day to Remember, which was absolutely a fantastic performance overall. I really enjoyed them. I was thinking I was probably going to enjoy them because I enjoy the recorded music anyways, and I have for a really long time, but at this point I haven't ever seen them before, so I sort of just wanted to go in without too high expectations, and they blew away my high expectations. So they started off in A Downfall of Us All, which is something I did not expect. I sort of looked up and did some research, and they usually end with that song. So to start up with that, get everyone kind of rowdy and hyped up for it because everyone knows that song, was a great idea in my opinion. Really got the crowd going, and overall the whole performance was fantastic. They played Second Sucks, which is a great song as well, so definitely much respect to them as well because they had a fantastic performance. Absolutely one of my top 5 for the weekend, maybe even like top 3. It was really a great performance. The crowd was great. Overall, just loved it. For the final band on stage number 2 for Friday, we had Megadeth, which was definitely a great way to end it off. I really enjoyed their performance overall. It was great, except getting kicked in the head a few times. See, during Hangar 18, I got kicked in the head with a crowd surfer, and that was fine. I was paying attention, so it sort of like minimized the pain from it and everything. It's just, you know, when you see a crowd surfer just kind of flying at you, you can't really get out of the way. There's like people on every side of you, so you just sort of have to like put your hands up and hope that you don't get hit. So unfortunately at that point, someone had like thrown the person, and their foot just like jutted into the back of my head. So I saw stars at that point, but I was still okay, and I was still fine being in the crowd. But then later on in the performance, I actually got kicked in the head by another crowd surfer, and I saw stars, and I kind of had to like back off after that one. I got out of the more rowdier part of the crowd and sort of sat out the rest of it. It was a great performance and overall very enjoyable, but getting kicked in the head, kind of like going sort of loopy, can kind of take away from the experience. So I can't say that they're one of the crazier bands for the weekend because I wasn't really like mentally there, I guess, if that makes sense, for part of their performance. So they probably were, but I really can't speak to it personally, I guess. Then we had Shinedown right before Disturbed, which was an absolutely amazing performance. I went into it talking to my buddy saying that if they play Enemy, I'd be okay with anything else. They could play any other song by them, and I would be fine with it. They could play some Elevator song on repeat, and I wouldn't even care because they played Enemy, because that hands down is my favorite song by them. So I was really hoping they'd play it, and lo and behold, we got one of the craziest crowds of the whole weekend with them playing Enemy. It was amazing. The entire crowd was jumping. You couldn't see anyone behind you that wasn't actually taking part in the just overall crazy stage presence that Shinedown had. It was insane. It was, I can't even come up with a better way to describe it. It was just a fantastic performance. Enemy was so good. And I have to say, the lead vocalist of Shinedown is a really good frontman for the band. Like, just overall, one of the better frontmen for any rock band that I've seen before. Really energetic, really makes people move. Like, very fun performance to be a part of. And then we have Disturbed to finish off Friday, which was a great way to end it off, guys. It was really fun overall, again, because a lot of these bands that I really wanted to see, I've wanted to see since middle school, so that's like 6, 7, 8 years at this point. So definitely really awesome to see some of those bands, but overall they put on a great performance as well. Disturbed play a lot of their old favorites, some of their new stuff. It was really good overall for that reason. But then the lead vocalist for Papa Roach comes out and they play Killing in the Name Of, and that was just, I don't have a word that can describe how amazing that was. The crowd was insane. Like, you could feel the energy. I'm literally getting goosebumps right now. Like, it was really good, guys. If you haven't seen the performance, it's in high quality, recorded on YouTube or something somewhere. I've seen it posted a couple times and I've shown a few people it, so definitely go look it up, watch the performance. It was absolutely amazing. But guys, that is gonna about wrap up Friday of Rock on the Range. It was an amazing day. Fantastic, heavy performances from a lot of bands. Have to say, having a lineup like they did on Friday was something I didn't expect. I thought they were gonna spread out the heavier bands among the whole weekend, but they really didn't. There were a few heavy bands on Saturday and only really one heavy band on Sunday. But that's not to say that they were worse or better in any way because they were heavier, just sort of explaining that anyways. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope to see you back here for the next Rock on the Range vlog-ish review sort of thing that I'm doing. And until next time, guys, peace.